Hey there, home base leaders. My name is Ned Noon, and this is Home Base Leadership. If you're new to watching my live videos, Kimber, all right, jumping on. I already got the audience started here. If you're new to watching my live videos, just a quick little introduction about me. Turning into work, watching live. Thanks for watching live. Cindy, thanks for watching live. So, if you're new to watching my videos, just a quick little introduction about me. I'm a father of three amazing, talented adults. And I am a truck driver by night, entrepreneur by day. I started my family when I was 16 years old, and I got involved in network marketing at that time. And I have been on the pursuit of looking for and trying to develop the best home-based business for the last 25 years. In the process of doing that, I've had to overcome many obstacles, such as addiction, education, and so on. And I've brought all these tools together to be the mentor to you that I needed when I was 16. So that's a little bit about me and where I'm coming from. I'm still married to the same amazing, beautiful woman that I started my family with more than 25 years ago. So I got this one titled today, Sick of It. I'm going to offer 5 new shows every week. Obviously, the flagship show would be Spiritual Sunday. That's a really involved show. This week, we're trying something new with Spiritual Sunday. We will have a guided meditation. So I was going to lead the meditation, but my lovely, darling wife has decided to lead the first one so that I can learn how to get the hang of it. So she will lead it, I will follow, and you can follow along too. We have obviously Motivation Mondays, Sick of It on Tuesday. I'm going to talk about how to get rid of what you're sick of. Weigh-in Wednesday, and then a business show about entrepreneurship and network marketing on Thursdays. So a lot of great stuff lined up. I'm going to get right to it today. So, sick of it. I did a show a couple weeks ago about the science of addiction. I created a system, which I call the life cycle system, for getting rid of addictions and addictive things. It's a 7-step system. It's different than the 12-step recovery system that's been out there for an eternity, and this is the system that I used to get rid of, not all of my bad habits, because I'm sure I still have a few, but I would say all of my addictive behaviors. One of the biggest disappointing things that I find about addiction is that, the medical community leans on this idea that addiction is a disease. And if you want to consider addiction as a disease, I don't really have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is using that idea of a disease as an excuse for why you can't complete a simple task like refraining from substances. So, through my frustration in this, general behavior of people, including myself, using that disease idea as an excuse, to constantly be falling back and repeating the same mistakes over and over again, I designed and created this system that's worked wonders for me, and it's taken me a solid 15 years to develop it, but I've used it to get rid of many things, many addictions: cocaine, marijuana, alcohol, and the past couple of years, cigarettes, as well as a few others. So I'm just going to give a basic overview of what this system is so that you can get an idea of what it's all about. So what it is, I call it the life cycle system because it takes a whole life cycle. What's a life cycle? Life cycle is a complete year, 365 days, okay? Something really awesome happens in a whole year. So many things change. So much of your body changes. So much of your body chemistry changes. There's a ton of body remodeling. I know Cindy is an expert in health and wellness, and she could attest to this. She knows her anatomy and physiology really well. There's a ton of body remodeling that happens in a year, and body chemistry that happens in a year. So by committing to quitting something for 1 year, you get to take advantage of this remodeling. You also get to go through a whole lot of different experiences, a birthday, every holiday, different seasons. So your body gets to experience all of these different sensations that go along with all of the different seasons, the body remodeling, the chemistry, and along with the social interaction of the different holidays and different social things that we go through naturally in a year. So often, we could start out with the idea of I want to quit something like smoking, and then something significant comes up like a birthday. And you're like, well, I'll just have a few drinks, and then a few drinks leads to some bad decision making. Then I'll just have one cigarette, and one cigarette, obviously gets you right back into it. With this system, if you commit to quitting for a whole entire year, here's the marvelous part about this system. You can make an educated decision at that point whether or not you want to choose to have something back in your life. So after you've completed 365 days, if you decide you want to try one cigarette, there's a solid chance that you could have one cigarette and put it down, because you will have known at that point what it takes to quit. So what is the system? I'm going to take the microphone along here and I'm going to write it down. It is a simple 7-step system. Even though it's simple, it doesn't make it easy though. So step 1 is practice. And I think I probably need some practice writing on the whiteboard so that things show up really well. So practice is the first step. So in the first step in practice, what we do is we start to prepare our minds, start to prepare our bodies to quit this thing. So I'm just going to focus on smoking cigarettes today, because I think that's a simple, common one. I think it's one that people are easily sick of. Cindy, thanks for your contributions there. Yeah. So Cindy agrees that there is a lot of body remodeling, a lot of chemistry going on. And she also says that there's a lot of excuses that go along with trying to quit addictive substances. And I'm reading these comments for the benefit of the podcast that you can find on iTunes and other places where you find podcasts. So all right, so practice. So we start by preparing our mind for getting rid of this smoking. We're just going to pick on smoking. So we're practicing. And by practicing, what you do is you start out every morning by just waiting a little bit longer before you have that cigarette, before you have that first cigarette. You practice by, after you eat a meal, certain triggers, things that trigger wanting to have a cigarette. You just practice by just creating a little bit of space. And then you extend that practice by deciding, see if you can go a whole day or maybe 12 hours in the day. In the process of practicing, another thing that you want to do is you want to talk to your doctor, because this system works so much better when you have a little bit of medical support. In the process of making that appointment with the doctor, and we do this practice time over a 2-week period, in that time you want to meet with your doctor and find a nicotine replacement system. If it's cigarettes that we're working with, if it's another substance, then obviously there's other things that we would try to get. But in the case of cigarettes, it'd be nicotine replacement or some nicotine therapy, and you talk to your doctor about that and find out what's right for you. Personally, in my final successful round of quitting, I used the patch, and I find that to be the best one. I think the name brand patch, I'm not going to endorse one or another, but the name brand one that's out there was the best and most effective one for me. So during that time, we're talking to our doctor, we're getting set up and ready, and we're practicing. We're creating some spaces of times that we're not using smoking cigarettes. So the second thing is, so once we've prepared and we've talked to our doctor, oh, I'm sorry. I screwed up my own system here. So I totally skipped over. So I got so excited, I jumped right ahead. Prepare is the first thing. Prepare is talking to your doctor and getting ready and preparing your mind and preparing yourself. One of the things you don't want to do in the prepare phase, though, is you don't want to tell everybody. You don't want to tell all of your friends that you're going to be quitting smoking because, they're just going to be sitting on the sidelines waiting for you to mess up because, they want to, they don't want to see anybody, I don't know. Most of the time, your close friends, your family, those people are the ones you want to tell because they're the ones that are going to support you and they're the ones that are going to keep you encouraged and inspired. I know my wife definitely kept me encouraged and inspired, especially in those real hard times. So it's important during this prepare phase of communicating with your doctor that you share what you're trying to do with your family. And you let them know that you're only quitting for a year. That's the important thing. What we're doing here, we're only deciding to quit for a year. So it's no longer, we're not quitting for a minute, we're not quitting for a day or for a week or whatever like that. We're not 1 minute at a time or 1 hour at a time. That's just going to keep it perpetuating in your mind. If you're quitting just for a minute at a time, you're constantly going to want to be using it for long, every minute that goes by, you're going to be thinking about it in the next minute or the next hour or the next day. So you're committing for a year. That way your mind can rest and know that this is going to last for a year. So prepare. So I jumped ahead, and we just talked about already, which was practice. And practice, again, is how about that? Practice is practicing writing on the whiteboard. Practice is creating that space. So trying to create a little bit of time, a little bit of space in between each cigarette, in between each thing. And I'm just flying through these real quick. I am going to put these into a book titled under the same name, Sick of It. You can also find these steps on homebaseleadership.com. Just search addiction. They are the first seven or eight blog posts that I made. So they are in the early blog posts on Home-Based Leadership. You can find these steps and start working on this stuff right away. So step 1 was prepare. Step 2 is practice. Step 3, and here it comes, the breakup. The breakup. And this is where we finally make the commitment and we finally decide, okay, we've prepared, we've talked to our family, we've talked to our doctor, we've got a nicotine replacement system, we've practiced a little bit, we can see what it's going to feel like without having the cigarettes, without having the thing that we want, and we have prepared our mind, we've prepared our body, and we've decided to make this commitment for 1 full year. And that's the whole thing. That's the beauty of this whole thing. We're not quitting for the day or for a minute or for an hour or whatever. We're quitting for 1 full year. And after that whole year, you will have the power to choose whether or not you want to pick this thing up again. So now it's time for the breakup. And the breakup is the time to make that commitment and go all the way. So if it's cigarettes, you put on that nicotine replacement system. If for me, it was the patch, and you're off and running. All right. I'm not going to get a whole lot more into these. I'm just trying to do a quick overview. So the breakup is when you finally start. So this happens over, you're preparing and practicing and everything before the breakup. couple weeks in advance. At the breakup, that is your line of demarcation right there. That is day one of 365, and then you're going to be able to make that educated decision after that. The next step, step 4, is replacement. You've just created a void in your life. You've just gotten rid of something that's been a major part of your life and a major part of what you have been doing for your life. It's taken up a lot of time. It's taken up a lot of your mental capacity. It's part of who you are. So now you have to create a replacement for it. If you don't create a replacement for your addictive substance, it'll return immediately. That void will not sit. What is happening in your brain, and we talked about this in the science of breaking bad habits, is that you have this huge main superhighway, this hardwired superhighway that sends communications all throughout your body for different sensations, different responses, and different things to keep this addiction perpetuated and to keep it going in your life. And we have to break down that superhighway, and we do that by creating a replacement. So a replacement would be exercise. My good friend Cindy teaches Pilates. I think that's an awesome replacement. I'm sure Cindy would agree with that. A regular Pilates practice would be a good replacement for any kind of addictive substance. For myself, I liked running because it was very cardio intensive, and especially for quitting smoking, you definitely want to have something that brings in a little bit of that, that cardio activity that you were used to getting from the cigarettes, because nicotine will, obviously raises your blood pressure and your heart rate. So will running. So replacement is the next thing. Beyond replacement, and this is a really fun one, is celebrate. Remember, we're only on this journey for a year, and now you've done an amazing thing. And so now it's time to celebrate. So how do we celebrate? We don't celebrate by picking up a cigarette or picking up the addictive thing. What we do is we plan a celebration. So we plan something special, reward ourselves, go to a spa, go out to eat, go do something relaxing, do something a little bit that you normally wouldn't do for yourself, spoil yourself, go to a nice meditation retreat, go to like I said, go to a spa or get a massage. Do something to reward yourself. Celebrate this awesome victory. And we celebrate after we've completed our first 120 days. After 120 days, we have broken the cycle, and now we're into creating something new. Our replacement habit has now started to take hold, and our old hardwired system is starting to atrophy. So, prepare, practice, the breakup, replacement, celebrate. Step 6. Step 6 is integrate. And I need to integrate writing on the whiteboard, get a little bit better at that. So integrate means now all those friends that we've been avoiding after 120 days have gone by and we've had this little celebration, all those people that we've been avoiding. So one of the things is if you decide you want to go back to the bar, or you want to go to a wedding or something like that where there's going to be drinking and, there's going to be those normal things that would normally be a trigger, hanging out with those certain friends that are always smoking. Now is the time, after 120 days, and the new replacement habit has taken hold, and we've celebrated this awesome victory. Now we can have the confidence to rejoin our friends, rejoin those trigger things, those holidays, those different things that will and have normally been a trigger to cause us to want to smoke. and we can join those things in confidence and have those conversations with our friends in confidence, especially being 120 days in. We can have the conversation and say, hey, yeah, I'm just quitting for a year. It's no big deal, especially if it's drinking or something else, and everybody's like, oh, come on, have a drink with me or whatever. First they're proud of you, but then later on it's always, come on, have a drink. No, you just say, listen, I'm 120 days into this. I got 240 days to go. It's no big deal. After that, I'll be able to, make a decision whether or not I want to do it. And then that leads us to the final step, step 7, which is renewal. And in the renewal step, what we're doing there is we're making the decision. You now have the tools and confidence after practicing this for a whole entire year, you will have the tools and confidence to decide if you can handle it. Can I handle having one cigarette once in a while when I'm out at the bar? Can I handle having just one drink with my friends or, smoking one joint or whatever? And here's the great part. You have these tools and you've done all of the hard work. So if you're wrong, guess what? You can start right back at the beginning again. It's completely up to you. I know for myself, when I've gotten to the renewal phase, I've just decided to renew my commitment. And every year, that's what I do. I renew my commitment for another year without cigarettes, another year without drinking, another year without whatever. There are some things that I never did renew. I never did renew my commitment to drinking. So once in a while, probably once or twice a year, I have a drink, and I am perfectly fine with it. It doesn't cause me to go crazy or, fall off the wagon or start smoking or go back to cocaine or anything like that. I have 1 or 2 drinks and I relax and enjoy time with my friends and family because I have the confidence, because I've done the work. And that is another part of this whole concept of addiction, or of addiction being a disease. Addiction, at the very worst, is a mental condition. It's not a traditional disease in the traditional sense. So, my daughter brought up a very good point that, what about diabetes? Diabetes is a disease that, we've caused on our own. And, it's caused by taking in too much sugar. And, our doctors warn us when we get to pre-diabetic stages and we still keep going with the sugar anyway, eventually fall into that trap. The fact is that you have the choice. With addiction, you have a choice every time to either use or not to use. And when you've gone through a system like this, a 7-step system, you have trained your mind now and trained your body to know and understand how to deal with it better. You no longer can fall back and lay back on those excuses of a disease. So I definitely wanted to cover this really quickly. This is a system, sick of it. Will be coming out in a book very soon. You can find these steps on homebaseleadership.com. Look under the Love, Life, and Leadership tab, and you can find these steps there. They're in the early few blog posts that I put on there. This is called the Life Cycle System, and it is a system that I would like to help anyone who is sick of it. If you're sick of smoking cigarettes, if you're sick of waking up in the morning in these humid days feeling like an elephant sitting on your chest and you want to quit, this is the system that's worked for me. I know it'll work for you. I'd be happy to help you do it too. I missed a sponsor in the beginning. The show is sponsored, as usual, by my network marketing company, Singular Nutrition Systems. You can also find Singular Nutrition Systems at homebaseleadership.com. If you've tried multiple ways to improve your health, improve your performance, to lose weight, try a Singular system. You will lose 5 to 15 pounds in 8 days, or you will have a no-hassle money back. Return the empty bottles for no-hassle money back. I have lost 25 pounds, increased my energy, increased my stamina, and I absolutely love it. I know you will too. Check it out at homebasedleadership.com. We have 3 systems. I will be talking more about them tomorrow on Weigh-In Wednesday. Again, it's singular nutrition systems, and definitely want to check that out. Check out Weigh-In Wednesday tomorrow, where I am going to post up my results and be asking you what's working for you in your life, in your fitness and health routines and regimens. With that, I'm going to sign off by saying we can have better leaders by becoming better leaders. Bye for now.